Has your father ever killed anyone before?
Oh, just a dog. Oh, and my Aunt Edna.
Hey, you can't prove that, Rusty.
National Lampoon's Vacation wasn't just a road trip movie. It was a meltdown on wheels. It asked, what if a family comedy had a body count? But behind the scenes, nothing came easy. The script was rejected for being too mean. The Wagon Queen truckster became a real car, and fans still drive it today. It launched a billion-dollar franchise and pushed John Hughes to walk away for good. These are 20 weird facts about National Lampoon's Vacation. And buried in the mayhem, a red Ferrari and a girl who stopped smiling the second the cameras rolled. Fasten your seatbelt. The Griswolds are hitting the road. Number 1. It doesn't look like much. Clark Griswold drying dishes after dinner, smiling, whistling, being a good husband. But if you watch closely, he's not rinsing anything, just wiping greasy plates with a dry rag and sliding them right back into the cabinet. There's no punchline, no music cue, just Clark being quietly unhinged while pretending everything is fine. Chevy Chase came up with it on the spot. He says it's one of his favorite bits in the whole film because most people never notice it. But for those who do, it tells you everything about Clark Griswold in 10 seconds with no words at all.
Hey, knucklehead, set us up with 4 red eyes, will you?
Hey, tenderfoot, move your chicken wings, turkey. I'm all right.
Didn't it look real, sweetie?
What? Are you happy now, Clark? She's deaf.
Number 2. It looked like an action epic. Clark Griswold, muscles rippling, shirt torn, raising a tennis racket to the sky like a sword, women clinging to his legs, explosions in the distance. Only, it was a comedy about a guy driving his family to a theme park. The poster was painted by fantasy legend Boris Vallejo, the same artist behind Conan the Barbarian. And that was the joke. The studio wanted to spoof epic adventure posters, make Clark look like a mythic hero, even though he's barely holding it together by day 2. And it worked. People didn't know what the movie was, but they remembered the poster. Because in true Griswold fashion, the image promised glory. The movie delivered chaos. Number 3. She was a supermodel, an icon, the face of Uptown Girl. But on day 1 of filming Vacation, she froze. Christy Brinkley had never acted before, not even a commercial. And when the cameras rolled, nothing came out, just silence, blank stare, stage fright. The crew considered recasting, but director Harold Ramis gave her time, coached her, let her find the rhythm, and slowly, something clicked. That red Ferrari, that wink, that laugh, it all became part of the fantasy. She went from frozen to unforgettable in one scene, and it still gets cheers 40 years later. Number 4. It was just supposed to be a simple gag. Clark at the gas station, fumbling with the truckster, trying to find the gas cap. But when Chevy Chase yanked off the rear license plate, it slipped from his hand. The metal plate flew behind him like a frisbee, and nearly nailed a background actress standing at the next pump. Watch the scene closely. There's a moment, just a flicker, where Chevy turns eyes wide, jaw tense. That's not acting, that's real. He thought he'd hit someone. The camera kept rolling. The take stayed in the film, and that brief flash of panic, it's now part of Griswold canon, because even when things went wrong, they somehow made the movie better. Number 5. Before Vacation was a movie, it was a memory. In 1979, John Hughes was stuck inside during a brutal Chicago blizzard. With nothing else to do, he sat down and wrote Vacation 58, a short story for National Lampoon magazine. It was sharp, awkward, mean in the way family trips sometimes are. And it followed a family from Detroit trying, and failing, to get to Disneyland. The car breaks down, the kids unravel, the dad completely snaps, and in the most unhinged twist of all, he shoots Walt Disney in the leg. The story hit hard. Fans loved it. The satire worked. And Warner Brothers took notice. They bought the rights, changed the destination to Walley World, toned it down a little, but the DNA stayed the same. Roadside chaos, emotional meltdowns, a father on the edge. It didn't come from Hollywood. It came from snow, from silence, from a guy remembering how weird family vacations really were. And that blizzard turned into a billion-dollar franchise.
Did you tell Clark and Ellen the good news?
No, I was just about to. Catherine, what's the good news?
You're driving me to Phoenix!
Number 6. Before it became a franchise, it got tossed aside. When producer Matty Simmons first shopped the script for Vacation, he brought it to Paramount. They took one look and said no. Too dark, too episodic, too mean. They didn't get it. That the story wasn't supposed to flow cleanly. That it was about the awkward, painful, and deeply weird chaos of a family vacation unraveling in real time. To them, it wasn't a movie. It was just uncomfortable. So Simmons took it to Warner Brothers. They saw the edge, the honesty, the risk, and rolled the dice. What Paramount passed on became a massive hit. Critics praised its bite. Audiences saw themselves in every breakdown. And suddenly, the thing they said was too mean. It was everywhere. Sometimes the ugliest truths make the funniest movies. You just need a studio brave enough to say yes.
Hey, Dad, you must have jumped this thing about 50 yards.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty. 50 yards.
Number 7. It wasn't just a hit. It saved the whole brand. The odds weren't great. National Lampoon had lost its edge. 2 back-to-back movie flops, a fading magazine, and a studio unsure if the Griswolds could carry anything more than a punchline. The budget was tight, just $15 million, and no one was betting on a comedy this weird, this mean, or this chaotic. But when Vacation hit theaters in July 1983, it exploded. Critics called it sharp, subversive, and just plain hysterical. Audiences couldn't get enough. They came back twice. They brought friends. By the end of its run, the movie had pulled in over $61 million, quadrupling its budget and rocketing Chevy Chase back into stardom. But more than that, it saved National Lampoon. It proved the brand could survive past Animal House. It launched a franchise, revived careers, and made a dysfunctional road trip feel like the American dream. Sideways, sunburned, and totally out of gas. It wasn't just box office success, it was a rescue mission, and it worked.
Come on. How much?
How much you got?
No, I'm asking how much the repairs are.
I'm asking you how much you got.
Look, I don't have time to play around, okay? So how much is it?
All of it, boy.
What's your sheriff think of your business practices?
Number 8. Originally, they were from Detroit. That was John Hughes' hometown, and the original short story placed the Griswolds right in the Motor City. But when the script moved to production, the studio pushed for a change. Chicago felt safer, more middle American, and to Hughes, more personal than he expected. He rolled with it, and without even meaning to, Vacation became the beginning of a pattern, one that would define nearly every Hughes film that followed. 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller, Home Alone, all in Chicago. It started as a note. It became a legacy.
I can't accept this credit card.
Why not?
The computer says it's been reported lost.
Look, I've lost all my cash and we're on our way to California.
The only thing I can do is have you stay here until the check clears. 10 working days.
Number 9. Eddie wasn't supposed to be iconic. He was just written as weird, a detour, a joke. But Randy Quaid had other ideas. He said he based Cousin Eddie on a real person from his extended family. A man with wild mannerisms, conspiracy theories, and a stare that made people nervous. That neck scratch, that clueless grin, the way Eddie never blinks during awkward silence, all of it was real. He played it straight, never winked at the camera. And that's why it worked. Cousin Eddie wasn't just funny. He was unsettling because he was honest.
How do you like yours, Clark?
Oh, medium rare, a little pink inside.
Oh, you're fine. Light or dark?
Oh, either way, it doesn't matter.
I don't know why they call this stuff hamburger helper. It does just fine by itself, huh? I like it better than tuna helper myself. Don't you, Clark?
Number 10. It was supposed to be sexy. A quick laugh. A steamy hotel moment before everything fell apart. But what you didn't see? Beverly D'Angelo was struggling to breathe. The water heater had been turned up too high. The steam flooded the bathroom, and under those hot lights, the oxygen started disappearing fast. She stayed in character, smiling, teasing Clark. But behind the curtain, she was lightheaded, dizzy, and close to blacking out. No one called cut, because no one noticed, until the scene was already done. It's one of the funniest moments in the movie, and it almost knocked her unconscious. Number 11. It's one of the most infamous gags in the movie. Clark forgets the dog's leash. The car drives off. A few miles later, a cop pulls him over. Dark, shocking, completely deadpan, and nearly cut from the film entirely. Warner Brothers hated it, said it was too cruel, that audiences would walk out. But Hughes and Ramis fought to keep it in, and won. They argued it was the point. Clark wasn't evil, he was oblivious. A man so overwhelmed by his own meltdown, he forgot the dog. And somehow, audiences laughed. Because sometimes what's uncomfortable is what sticks the hardest.
Hello, officer. What's the problem?
Get out of the car.
I don't think I was speeding. Was I weaving or something?
Shut your mouth, sir.
Oh, my God.
Very sorry. I feel terrible. How do you think that little dog feels? Poor little guy. Tough little mutt. Yeah.
Number 12. It was hideous. Metallic pea green paint, 8 headlights, fake wood paneling, a car so wrong it felt like a prank on wheels, and yet it became iconic. The truckster was designed specifically to look awful, like everything that had ever gone wrong with American station wagons crammed into one monstrosity. But something strange happened. Fans loved it, and not just in theory. They built their own. To this day, die-hard vacation fans restore old Ford wagons, repaint them green, slap on fake wood, and cruise around the country like they're headed to Walley World. It started as a joke, but somehow it became a symbol.
There she is.
Dad, this is not the car you ordered.
I distinctly ordered the Antarctic Blue Super Sports Wagon with the CB and the optional Rally Fun Pack.
This is the automobile you should be using, the Wagon Queen family truckster. You think you hate it now, but wait till you drive it.
I just want my old car back, okay? I'm not falling for this bit.
Number 13. The movie ends with Clark pulling a BB gun on the security guard at Walley World. But that wasn't the original plan. In the first cut of Vacation, the Griswolds never made it to the park. Instead, they drove straight to the mansion of Roy Walley, the Walt Disney-inspired theme park owner, and crashed his business meeting in the backyard. Clark pulls a gun, forces Roy and a group of corporate executives to sing and dance for his kids, right there on the lawn, as payback for the park being closed. Then the police show up. Clark gets arrested. But just as things spiral, Christy Brinkley appears. Turns out, she was supposed to be Roy's daughter all along. She convinces her father to drop the charges. The next scene, the Griswolds are flying home wearing Walley World hats. But Clark still isn't calm. He has a meltdown mid-flight and hijacks the plane. Yes, really. It was surreal, chaotic, completely off the rails. Test audiences didn't laugh. They stared in silence. The studio panicked, reshot the whole ending, and buried the original. But some of that twisted DNA lived on in the sequel. Because in European Vacation, Clark still gets his plane scene.
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
We're here to see Mr. Roy Walley.
Well, nobody notified this office of anything.
Okie dokie. How's this?
We're not really violent people. This is our first gun.
No, it isn't.
Number 14. Those screaming faces on the rides, they weren't acting. The park scenes were filmed at Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California, and the cast had to ride the same roller coasters over and over again to get the coverage the director needed. Chevy, Beverly, the kids, loop after loop, take after take. By the end of the shoot, the nausea was real. So were the headaches. So were the screams. They say comedy is pain. In this case, it was also motion sickness. Number 15. Most people don't even realize it, but Vacation is the only R-rated film in the entire franchise. Not because of language, not because of violence, because of the tone. Director Harold Ramis, known for his sharp but thoughtful comedy, later admitted that parts of the movie pushed too far. In the DVD commentary, he specifically called out the St. Louis scene. The Griswolds get lost in a rough neighborhood, and the moment leans into stereotypes in a way that even Ramis wasn't comfortable with. He said he felt embarrassed, that it wasn't his voice, that the edge in the script, coming from National Lampoon's rawer, meaner roots, didn't always align with his own instincts as a filmmaker. He called it the most politically incorrect sequence I've ever shot. And you can hear it in his voice. He wasn't proud of it. The laughs landed in 1983, but even then, not everyone was laughing.
We're from out of town.
And, give me directions back onto the expressway.
What, for free?
I'm not going to give you $5 for directions.
I think that's fair, Clark.
Okay, here's 10.
There you go.
Keep the change.
Number 16. The movie was a hit, a massive one. Sequels were greenlit. The Griswolds became a brand. Chevy became iconic all over again. But behind the scenes, one person quietly slipped away. John Hughes had created the world. He wrote the original short story. He adapted the script, but the version that made it to screen wasn't quite what he imagined. The original story was told through Rusty's eyes, a kid's perspective, a memory, funny, painful, absurd. But once production began, everything shifted to Clark. Chevy Chase took the wheel, literally and creatively. The heart of the story, the reflection, the satire, the sadness behind the chaos, got buried under the laughs. Hughes stuck around to write European Vacation, but after that, he was done. No fight, no press release, just silence. And in that silence, he started over as a director. His focus changed, his voice sharpened, and instead of families on vacation, he started writing about the kids left behind at home. The Griswolds made him a household name, but walking away from them, that's what made him a legend. Number 17. Chevy was the face of Vacation, but behind the scenes, things weren't always so charming. He was known for being sharp, quick, and brutally honest, sometimes too honest. Cast and crew remember cold moods, tension, sarcasm that didn't always land as funny. Years later, Chevy admitted he hadn't handled the fame well, and he called out one regret in particular: the way he treated Anthony Michael Hall. Hall looked up to him. He was just a kid, and Chevy wasn't always kind. They patched things up later, but the moment had passed. The damage had been done. Even comedy legends carry their own scenes they wish they could reshoot.
You're growing up so damn fast. I've spent the last 15 years of my life developing newer and better food additives. I guess I've missed an awful lot. First, I didn't want to take this vacation, but now I'm glad I did. It's given me a chance to spend a lot more time with you and,
Audrey.
Audrey, yeah.
Number 18. She wasn't new to acting. She had done serious films, Shakespeare, drama. She was respected, and she worked hard to earn it. So when Vacation came along, it wasn't the role that impressed her. It was the tone, the absurdity, the truth inside the jokes. She signed on without knowing what it would mean. Her performance was honest, subtle. She played it grounded. The calm in Clark's chaos, the warmth behind the absurdity. She turned a slapstick wife into something real. Audiences loved her. Critics noticed her timing. But the industry? It stopped calling the same way. She said the film changed her life, opened doors, gave her fans, gave her security. But it also shifted how casting directors saw her. They stopped asking for range. They started offering repeats. Because in Hollywood, once you prove you can make people laugh, they rarely ask if you can do anything else. And for all the love that role brought her, it also boxed her in. Number 19. Rusty and Audrey never stayed the same. Every sequel, they came back with new faces, new ages, and new personalities. At first, audiences were confused. Then, they just accepted it. But here's the twist. It wasn't laziness. It was a running joke. Hughes and the filmmakers thought it was funnier to never explain it. Like time itself bent around Clark and Ellen, and their kids just regenerated like sitcom characters. No in-universe logic, no continuity, just chaos. Because in the Griswold universe, even your children aren't safe from recasting.
I don't want to go to Walley World. Walley World's overrated anyway.
What do you think?
I think you're all fucked in the head. We're 10 hours from the fucking fun park and you want to bail out. Well, I'll tell you something. This is no longer a vacation. It's a quest. We're all gonna have so much fucking fun we'll need plastic surgery to remove our files. You'll be whistling Symphony Doodah out of your
Number 20. You can hear it right now, can't you? That guitar riff, that cheerful chaos. But when it debuted, nobody cared. Lindsey Buckingham, yes, from Fleetwood Mac, wrote it specifically for the film. It barely cracked the Billboard charts, got ignored by radio. Then slowly, it stuck. The song returned in European Vacation, Vegas Vacation, and the 2015 reboot. It showed up in commercials, memes, even modern road trip playlists. It wasn't written to be timeless. It just never left. Because when you hear it now, you don't think hit song. You think, oh no, Clark's driving again. Bonus fact, he only had one job: stand at the gate, apologize, wave people away. Sorry folks, park's closed. But somehow, that moose became a legend. He was never meant to be the face of Vacation. No big lines, no wild scenes, just a giant foam mascot with dead eyes and a polite voice. But fans couldn't forget him. He's been printed on t-shirts, recreated in home decor, and quoted everywhere from road trips to office meltdowns. No one remembers the name of the ride, but everyone remembers the moose. Not bad for a character who never left the front gate. National Lampoon's Vacation was never just a comedy. It was a meltdown in motion, a portrait of family dysfunction disguised as a road trip. It pushed boundaries, took risks, and somewhere between the BB gun, the red Ferrari, and that cursed station wagon, it struck a nerve. Clark wasn't just losing his mind. He was holding on to something, a dream of the perfect American vacation that never really existed. Behind every gag was exhaustion. Behind every scene, someone taking a creative risk they weren't sure would work. And maybe that's why it still holds up. Because under all the chaos, it never stops being human. So next time you hear Holiday Road, take a deep breath, grip the wheel, and remember, you're only ever one wrong turn away from becoming a Griswold.